So again, it says, no one is ignorant of a thing. No one who is ignorant of a thing is bound to give information. Well, you don't know how he died. So why are you going to start testifying to a police officer or a sheriff? Shut your mouth. You don't need to tell them. Let them do their investigation. They're just trying to find somebody to pin it on. Everyone is bound to know that concerning which he gives information. Well, if you're giving out information, when we go to that word, which unfortunately is not tonight, but when we make sure we do that next week, when you understand what information is, you understand that now you're responsible for it. That's why the Supreme Court tells us in Miranda versus Arizona, shut your mouth. You have no duty to talk to these people. Don't say anything. You don't need to. Within reason, we can discuss that. Ignorance of law, that's the next one. Blindness, devoid of knowledge of the law, have no idea of the specifics of the law. I like that. Lack of knowledge of legal requirements, lack of learning of legal requirements, no knowledge of legal constraints, not schooled in the law. Wow, that's crazy. It said legal law. Pay attention to how it's going from one to another. Pay attention when they use the word natural. Person isn't natural. You really have to pick apart the words that are being used here to see the picture of what they're trying to tell you. Let's go on. Obtuseness, unawareness of rules, unawareness of rules of conduct, unawareness of statutes, which are imposed, unawareness of statutory requirements, unfamiliarity with established rule of law. I really like that one. That's the last line at the bottom of the page. I really like that one. We're not familiar with how they're conducting their business. They have a process. That's another word we'll do next week. They have a process. They know how many steps they need to do for a dentist. They know how many steps they need to do for a Chinese man versus a Hispanic man versus a white man. They know that the white men are going to argue IRS stuff way more than anyone else. They know all this. They have processes for all that. Unfamiliarity with laws, unfamiliarity with legal requirements. Again, we transition back to legal requirements. They want you to bring law, but everyone keeps bringing legal. So instead of equity, we're getting swift justice, and that's what we're going to remedy through these words. We're going to figure out what we're doing incorrectly. Associated concepts. Defenses, due process, notice. You got to find the brightest highlighter you have, and you need to highlight that word notice. It's so important. It's word 3 next week. Ignorance is presumed where knowledge has not been proven. They know where I'm going because they see my paperwork. But because my paperwork has equity all over it, I could still go into court and argue patriot concepts, and I destroy my equity. So though the paperwork has proven where I'm going, my words have to walk it out. If my words are not before the commissioner, or if my words are not before the judge, then he has no equity to rule on. Yeah, fine, I gave him a bunch of fancy paperwork, but the patriot community always wants magic paperwork. Well, I can tell you it's definitely magic.